We're here at the Gurevich Gallery in Winnipeg to talk to one of the Warpaint contributors. We're talking to Shannon, who submitted the piece Prince Charming, which sits behind us, which appears in Warpaint issue 1. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, Shannon?
I do a variety of things. I'm a graphic designer, web designer, painter, photographer, printmaker. Right now I'm currently getting my Master's of Fine Arts at the University of Manitoba, where I'm focusing on painting, primarily figurative painting.
The first one is, why did you submit to Warpaint?
I think a book about contemporary artists, literary and visual, is such an important thing, especially in the Canadian art community. And I think it's pretty rare, and I think it's exciting.
We'd just like to, you to tell us a little bit, like Prince Charming is part of a broader series about fairy tales and contemporary life, mixing those two things. And so can you tell us a little bit about the series overall and then where Prince Charming fits into that?
Sure. The series is from Fairytales from my perspective. It was actually my BFA graduate show. At that point in time, I was looking at fairy tales. I was also looking at princess culture and how they sort of right from the start, right when you're like 2, 3, 4, 5 years old, they sort of influence your identity and they tell you about yourself or tell you about the expectations, who you're supposed to be, what you're supposed to be like. They were lacking independence, they were lacking strength. And in all of the fairy tales, really, you know, Snow White, Cinderella, all of those paintings to me just didn't represent women or men, for that matter, in a positive light. As you know, like in most fairy tales, Prince Charming is supposed to be the strong, brave, like takes care of everything kind of figure. And, you know, Cinderella or any of the princesses, Cinderella, Snow White, is this weak, passive character waiting for Prince Charming to save her. And so I kind of thought about those ideas in relation to my own life, in relation to my own relationships. And it just, to me, they didn't fit. It seemed like bogus. So I wanted to do a painting that sort of depicted how could a fairy tale represent reality? You know, how could it be true to life? And I sort of came up with that, you know, the typical guy sitting on the couch with his beer, you know, legs crossed, and, you know, the woman looking at her ring. And I wanted to depict, you know, a relationship that's closer to reality and sort of reflects, you know, my personal relationships and how these fairy tales have translated into my everyday experience.
Like the Prince Charming, there is only a little bit more distinct because with the gun there is this like sexualization, like at least for me, with the legs, and then you have this gun, so it has this odd like. If a lady was like that with me, I wouldn't know what she was looking for. Like I would have to be very careful no matter what. And so there's kind of a play there between like trying to attract the viewer, but also having this gun, which is a very defensive weapon. Is there a story behind that, or like a meaning behind that?
A lot of my work is like that. I think that sometimes if you paint like, you know, rainbows and, you know, clouds or whatever, everything's cheery and happy, it doesn't have the same impact as something that's a little bit more ambiguous, edgy, scary even. So I guess with this painting, I do like the idea of the sexualization a little bit, as well as the gun, because it does that. I'm really interested in like, you know, the public versus private space, and, you know, what other people can see and what other people can't see, and how there's this desire to always see the opposite side. So you want to see what you can't see.
Well, it was nice. It was nice to come down and talk to you. It was nice to actually get to come down and do a gallery with all of our other contributors. They're not from Winnipeg, so we didn't get to have this opportunity. And I'd like, you know, just thank you very much for letting us come down here and see your pieces in real life.
Thank you so much. It's been an honor and a privilege. You know, the book, go out and buy the book if you haven't. The book is an incredible, I think, addition to the Winnipeg art scene and, you know, the contemporary Canadian art scene. And I'm very privileged and honored to be a part of it.
Well, thank you. So the good news is that we finally got the Warpaint issue 1 print edition done, ready, and you can buy it now. The black and white version is available on Lulu. The color version is on Amazon.com and CreateSpace. And of course, we do have a digital version, and all information on all the different versions and the versions we're going to continue to put out in the future is available on our website, ZenFri.com. I think that's good. Bye, Warpaint.